Owain Richard, do swear by Almighty God.
Policing and policing challenges on the Rock move onto what the Governor and the Chief Minister described as a new era post a Brexit treaty. Sir Ben Bathurst said the new Commissioner would also take into account lessons identified by the McGrail inquiry. Owain Richard brings with him nearly 3 decades of policing experience. Before the swearing-in ceremony, he took an oath to become a constable in the Royal Gibraltar Police. Mr Richards also took the oath of allegiance to the King, with this overseen by the Chief Justice. The Governor read the warrant of appointment.
So I've been very fortunate in the recent weeks to have been briefed by the current command team of the Royal Gibraltar Police on all of the operational, organisational and partnership opportunities and challenges that we face ahead as I take up my appointment today.
Well, one of those challenges is the fact that you take on a force where a lot of the senior officers or the experienced officers have left. So how much of a challenge will this be?
One of my priorities going forward is, of course, to retain experience and we have 12 new officers starting at their recruit class today. That gives hope for the future. But of course, recruitment, retention and training and of course recognising the good work of the Royal Gibraltar Police is high on my priority.
There was a large elephant in the convent ballroom, the fact that Owain Richards has been recruited externally. The Chief Minister tackled this in his address.
As we see Owain here, it's clear that he was the strongest of all the field of candidates. It's clear that we must not be afraid of recruiting the best person for the job. And that's what I believe we've found in Owain. But we must always remind ourselves that if we had had it as we might have wished, we would not have opened the field beyond Gibraltar. And we had to. And we must not for one moment ignore that fact as we go forward.
He said people had to ask themselves why it had been necessary to appoint a commissioner from outside Gibraltar. In his speech, the Chief Minister said that in this new age, institutions were rightly questioned. Fabian Picardo said policing was right up there with governing and had to be carried out in a way that ensures it's in keeping with all the rules and obligations set out for the purpose. The controversies that had surrounded the RGP and its relationship with the government were put into sharp focus.
We're not going to make progress in this community. What we do is put our heads in the sand and pretend that the things that have happened have not happened, and we blithely go on in that way. It was necessary to draw a line in the sand after the events of the past 5 years that we've seen from the Royal Gibraltar Police and the issues that we've seen there. It was important, therefore, that we open up to the widest field of candidates. There were candidates from the Royal Gibraltar Police, but the strongest candidate from the widest field was Owain Richardson, and I'm therefore delighted that he's going to come to Gibraltar and he's going to start working today as Commissioner of Police. I think this is the beginning of a new era for the Royal Gibraltar Police. Of course, we're also on the cusp of a new era of security for Gibraltar. The removal of the frontier fence is not going to cause the security issues that many people are worried about because we're going to manage it properly. And Owain and the Royal Gibraltar Police, as well as the Customs and the BCA, will form a hugely important part of how we make Gibraltar even safer in the future. That's what we're dealing with today with the appointment of a new commissioner.
Owain Richards highlighted 3 key priorities: ensuring the safety and security of communities, investing in the workforce and ensuring RGP officers and staff are well led, well equipped and fully recognised for their dedication and service. His third priority is driving collaboration, something which everyone agrees is crucial for the next chapter.
Of course, I have to work with His Excellency the Governor and his office, His Majesty's Government of Gibraltar and the Gibraltar Police Authority to deliver the reform that is needed to the Police Act, to misconduct and vetting regulations, to modernise the organisation, but also to work in partnership with other statutory and non-statutory agencies within Gibraltar. And there are opportunities to work more closely with the Gibraltar Defence Police on matters around armed policing, around marine units. These are all opportunities I'm keen to explore to ensure that we give value for money to the public and also that we provide an effective service.
The new commissioner spoke of modernising the organisation and ensuring the force had the tools needed. Fabian Picardo said there had been a huge increase in the policing budget and that commissioners had always had the resources they needed.
In fact, we've given resources to commissioners of police that subsequent commissioners of police have told us they don't need. We bought a very large vessel for the Royal Gibraltar Police. The commissioner, after the one who acquired the large vessel, said he didn't need that large vessel. We then acquired dog facilities for the Royal Gibraltar Police. A commissioner, after the commissioner that acquired the dogs, said that they didn't need that resource. So we need to ensure that we give the Royal Gibraltar Police the right resources and that this is carefully thought out, and that we don't give resources that we are then subsequently told, also by the Royal Gibraltar Police, they don't need, although it's required a huge capital investment by the government at the instance of the Royal Gibraltar Police in an earlier incarnation.
They also lost a lot of resources when a lot of police officers were employed as whistleblowers, were employed in government offices and departments.
Yes, indeed. And people need to ask themselves why those individuals needed to whistleblow and why they weren't encouraged to whistleblow by the organisation itself, and why the organisation found itself in the situation in which it found itself. Whether or not those whistleblowers' evidence was relevant to the inquiry is not a matter for me. It's a matter for the chairman of the inquiry. But if in your organisation you find that so many people have something to say, you don't listen to them, and they need to end up leaving the organisation, don't blame the people who give those people an opportunity to continue with their careers. Ask yourself introspectively why they felt they couldn't come to you.
Some would be tempted to say that actually they were offered better jobs at the same pay.
Well, that would be completely untrue. It would be wrong. It would be outside the provisions of the Employment Act. What we did was act in keeping with the Employment Act in respect of very serious allegations, some of which have not yet seen the light of day, some of which led to prosecutions of a former commissioner, although he was then exonerated by a magistrate.
I said in my address at the swearing-in ceremony this morning that public trust is fundamental to the success of policing within Gibraltar. We must earn that trust. I'm here to listen to communities, to those who govern, and our partners, to hear what matters most to them, and of course to our colleagues within Royal Gibraltar Police to improve their working conditions and to ensure that they are proud to serve and give the best possible service to the people of Gibraltar.
The new commissioner spoke of a changing world, but said values that guide good policing remain constant.